So here we go, day 3. What music gets placed the most? This is a crucial question. You definitely need to be asking this question. And right now, I'm going to give you the answer so that you know you're creating the right kind of music for the business of music licensing so that you're not sitting on the shelf. Your tracks aren't just collecting dust. You're actually flying off the shelf, getting placements over and over again, and eventually seeing those royalties grow to the point where they can be your full-time income. Okay, so let's make sure we don't make those mistakes that most producers do make. First of all genres of music can get huge placements. Okay, so I want to be clear about that right off the bat. We are going to get into specifics, but if you do hip hop, rock, pop, EDM, orchestral, minimal, corporate, country, I don't care what you do. All genres, even just ethereal, moody stuff, okay? All genres of music can get huge placements, all right? So if you watch TV and you pay attention to the music, you're going to hear all different types, all different genres that are on there, okay? So I don't want you to feel that whatever genre that you produce in has to be whatever is charting on the Billboard or has to be the most popular in style sound right now. Absolutely not. Okay, so that's the beautiful thing about the licensing business. It is so open to almost every producer who produces any kind of music. It does need to be the right kind of music and licensable, of course, and we're going to talk about that. But almost every sound and style really can do well in this business. Okay, it's really cool. Now, first, relevant and modern tracks will see the most placements, okay? So if you have tracks that sound like they could fit in the Billboard Top 40 in all the genres, right? Rock, pop, EDM, anything like that. You'll probably see the most amount of placements with that just because usually advertisers, reality TV shows, etc., they want a current sound associated with their brand or their TV show, okay? So a lot of times they're looking for more modern, kind of relevant stuff that's happening this year in the music industry because they want their, TV show or product to seem relevant and current. They don't want something that sounds like it was from the 80s or the 90s. They want something that sounds like it's happening today. So that's first and foremost. In any genre that you produce, high energy and upbeat tracks perform much better than slow ballad ones, okay? So I spent one album putting together a slow ballad album, and I'm telling you, I think I've gotten one placement off of 12 tracks that I ever produced on that. So this is my personal experience. And since then, I have really just steered away from the slow ballad stuff. I've really geared everything towards, 110, 120 BPM or faster. And I try to create energy and excitement. And I want to make sure that it's at least mid-tempo to up-tempo. Why does that get placed better on TV? Well, think about it. Most of TV is all about excitement, right? It's a driving scene. It's an emotional scene. It's about advertising some sort of a car or a product or a promo for an upcoming show. And what do they want the listener to do or the viewer to do? Get excited, right? On the edge of their seat, jumping up and down, like they can't wait to get this product or watch this TV show. So, well, how do you get people excited? Crank up the music, right? Get high energy, high BPM music to get people's blood boiling, right? So it's not rocket science. It's literally just about advertising. It's just emotionally trying to manipulate people or push people. Manipulate's sort of a bad word, but entice people to get excited about what it is they're advertising, right? Now, vocal music generally gets paid more per placement because adding vocals to a track is considered added value to the music, right? But here's the key thing. Instrumental tracks get used way more often, okay? My career is based on my background instrumental cues. That's basically all of my royalty checks. You look at my royalty check, page after page after page. Background, it says BG, background. It's all background music. Why? Well, because every TV show needs background music, okay? Not every TV show needs vocals or a singer or something like that actually singing a song or conveying a message on screen. But every single TV show or commercial needs music behind it to set the tone, to put the emotional bed right there so that they're putting the viewer where they want them to be emotionally, right? So if you're an instrumental producer, you just produce instrumental tracks, you're in a great position. If you do vocal music and you can sing vocals or you can partner with somebody who can put vocals on your tracks, you're in a really strong position because you know what? All you have to do is supply a track and give them another alt version that takes the vocals off, and guess what? There's your instrumental version. So you give them both, right? Give them options, and that's the key thing there. Giving your clients and your libraries those options is one way to make sure, and it's actually the only way to make sure that you increase those placements and those opportunities that you get for yourself, okay? Most importantly, above all of this, your music needs to convey lots and lots of emotion. Music is just the way that I see music, it's just a an expression of emotion, right? That's really all music is. Of course, it has its chords and its BPM and its beat and all that kind of elements, right? But at the core of it, what is music? Why do we all get addicted to it? Why do we love music? Why have some of us, myself and you, dedicated our lives to this stuff? Emotions, okay? It taps into our deep, deep emotions that sometimes we don't get access to. So that's the purpose of your music in this industry, is to deliver lots and lots of very rich and specific emotion, okay? Not getting too broad and going, okay, I'm gonna have some happiness and sadness and depression and reflectiveness and optimism and, going in all these different directions in one track. You wanna stay specific to one particular emotion with your music. But let's talk about some of that. Let's dive into that. How do you give your music more emotion, right? I want you right now to discount if you believe that you are a beat maker, all right? You are no longer a beat maker, okay? So I know a lot of producers and musicians and maybe DJs, they think that they're just making beats. That goes out the window starting right now, okay? You are now an audio director. You have to start thinking about yourself this way. It's the only way you're going to succeed, okay? Beat makers are a step below you right now, okay? You definitely need to step up your vision of yourself and how you treat yourself and how you treat your music if you want to succeed in this business. You are now an audio director. What does that mean? You need to start seeing your songs as 2 to 3 minute audio films, okay? What does that mean? You need to start bringing your listener on a journey with you, okay? No longer are you going to just make a cool little riff, beat, 4 bars, and then copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That's what you used to do up until this point right now. From this point moving forward, you need to start creating an emotional roller coaster for your listener to go on with you, okay? You need to grab their attention. You need to bring them with you through various hills and dips and rides. Think about a roller coaster when you're on a roller coaster. Is it just flat at the same speed the whole time? No. You have suspense. You're clicking up, click, 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 get to the very top, and then whew, super fast, right? Intensity, right? When that chorus comes in, boom, it explodes with energy and intensity, right? Then you have a little lull point. You come back down to your chorus. So you need to start thinking about your tracks as these audio roller coasters or an audio film that tells a full story of an emotion that you want to convey, okay? You must start including these elements in all of your tracks, whatever style it is you do. I don't care if you do hip hop, orchestral, anything. You got to include all of these elements. Dynamics. That's basically what I was just describing. Subtleties, growing with suspense, excitement, big explosions. Your track needs to look basically like a roller coaster and feel like a roller coaster, okay? So it rises in intensity, it drops down. So it's not always at 10. A lot of producers do that. You look at their waveforms and it's just a solid block of super compressed audio. You need to be a much more subtle and sophisticated producer with your productions, okay? Suspense. You need to have moments where it's not sure what's going to happen, okay? You need to feel like almost on the edge of your seat. I kind of feel like that's the sort of quality it has to have, like what's going to happen here, okay? Everything can't be totally predictable, completely like, okay, yeah, I know you go here and then you go there. It needs to have some moments of suspense of we don't know what's going to happen here, okay? Excitement, right? When you get into that chorus, you need to have that large explosion. It needs to feel like, wow, we really just rose up in energy, and it needs to get the blood boiling of the person listening to the track, right? Emotionally. This is all emotional manipulations that are happening here with this music. So what we're going to do with our tracks and what you're going to learn how to do is start creating that emotional quality that the advertisers can use and can get their audiences to feel positive or excited or optimistic or whatever it is, right? So that's why your music really needs to hone in on these emotions and deliver them solidly. Production development, okay? So that's just a fancy way of saying as your track evolves, you need to start adding new elements to it so that we're not looping the same 4 bars we already heard a million times. They don't need that. They can do that. They can edit anything they need to if they want to, loop something out a couple of bars. But you need to provide them all of these options so that as the track, it's kind of like building Legos, basically. As the track evolves, you start adding more and more complex layers to the track so you have all these options for them to go to. If they want the more complex end of the song where there's like lots of stuff going on, they can do that. If they want to have a little bit more subtle area where it's in the middle or something that's almost very minimal, probably in the beginning of your track, they can go for that too. So you want to have that production development as it goes on. Again, this ties back into it being an audio film, right? Not just copying and paste. You're not just making a beat. That's cool. It needs to be actually something that develops and evolves as a track goes on. And the biggest thing here is you're giving them edit options with all of these. Okay, so if they just want a tiny little 3-second placement where something just feels like we're in suspense and we don't know what's going to happen, they can take that little transition in your track between your verse and your chorus, right? If they want a big, celebratory feeling of like, wow, we made it, they can go to your last chorus and get that excitement. When you provide all of these elements to your music libraries, that's how you stack up your placements and provide them with the right kind of music, right? And that's giving them and the editor, whoever's in the edit bay, all these tiny little options throughout your track, right? So that's why this stuff is so powerful to learn how to do. Now, you might be wondering, how do you incorporate all of these elements into your music? There seems to be a lot of different ways that you could incorporate all of these, and there actually are. But maybe there are some golden rules to follow to make sure that your tracks are including all of these elements. And absolutely, there are golden rules, okay? So what I'm going to share with you guys in a couple of videos here is what I have, which is the Sync Academy. It's a powerful, extremely powerful online platform with 100+ hours of tutorials producing, mixing, and mastering, including some business information that you do need to know. And it's going to basically walk you through that path to make sure that your tracks include dynamics, suspense, excitement, production development, and offer those edit options to the music libraries you're submitting to, okay? So it's taught by myself and other successful music producers that are in this industry. So you're getting basically the pro insider edge to understand how to make licensable tracks that include these very powerful elements to make sure that you have emotionally driven tracks that are useful and it can actually get placed, right? And I'm going to reveal this powerful platform to you in video 5. So again, stick with me. You're going to really be very glad that you didn't give up on this. So when we get to video 5, you're going to learn all about the Sync Academy. Now, music that editors and supervisors love. Let's talk about what is it that they actually love. Music that sounds current, popular charting music, as we talked about before, that's usually what they're going for a lot of this stuff. But you should know, for those of you maybe older producers, retro music has its place as well. And this is coming back big time right now, actually. Retro music, 80s and 90s music, even 70s music is coming back heavy right now because it's all about nostalgia, right? A lot of these people who are making new shows and advertisements, they want to get people nostalgic for their childhood or their adolescence. So this music definitely has a place, and a lot of libraries are accepting kind of a retro throwback sound. So both definitely can be very useful. You want to make music that doesn't have too many high frequency instruments, okay? So if you are making tracks that have like a bell and a lead and a high piano and a lead guitar, all that stuff is very distracting for the human voice. And remember, most of the time you're getting background instrumental tracks placed in a TV show. So you want to have your production focused a little bit more centered in the low to mid range of the EQ spectrum, okay? So this happens to do a little bit with your mixing and mastering, of course, but also just in your sound selection, in the actual synths that you're using and instruments that you're using. You want to try to make sure that it's really more bass and mid-range heavy so that it's not stepping on top of the vocals, right? Female and male vocal range where they would be speaking at. Music that makes them feel good. I mean, remember, editors are people too. Music supervisors are human beings too. If they click play on your track and it makes them feel good and excited, they're going to want to hear that track over and over again. Well, guess what? They're going to probably want to place that track so they can hear it over and over and over again. So making them feel good with your music is absolutely something that can get you bigger placements. Music that grabs their attention within the first 5 to 10 seconds of the track. So no long fade-ins, 40-second long fading in pad or something like that, or just some experimental fade-in. You don't need any of that stuff, and you can't have any of that stuff in this business. You need to get right to the point of the track within 5 to 10 seconds. So a drum fill, an exclamation, ba 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 ba, something, right, that gets the attention, or a cool, glitchy, guitar fill or something like that. I don't know. You need to be the CEO of your creativity, but you got to grab the attention of whoever's listening to your music right away. And of course, your music needs to pull out the exact emotion of a scene. So some examples of this would be, regret. Like if there's a scene somewhere in a reality show where somebody feels bad about something, they want to hey, we need something that feels like regret. So you need to be delivering regret with your track, right? Cautious optimism, despair, romantic flirtation, suspenseful fear, joyful triumph, etc., etc. You can go all down the list of the entire range of emotions that you can possibly be delivering. All right, so tomorrow's video, we're gonna learn how much money you can make in this business. And yes, I'm gonna give you real numbers that I've personally seen in my career, okay? So not fluff, not theoretical, not what you maybe could possibly get. I'm talking about what you really can do and what I've personally seen in this industry, okay? As long as you're willing to work for it, you can absolutely do that. Also, you're probably wondering, how long is it going to take to start making money, and how long can it take to make this your full-time job, et cetera, et cetera. It's very important that you have a realistic timeline in front of you. A lot of producers think they're going to get rich in a week or a month or something like that. It's going to take time to make sure that you build up your catalog and your royalties, but The beautiful thing is if you can make it through the beginning phases of this industry, you could be one of the few that see that long-term passive income success for the rest of your life, right? Most producers don't have that patience. They don't have that long-term mindset to make it there, but you absolutely could do that as long as you're willing to make a commitment to yourself. And again, I can cut down drastically the timeline that it can take to really do well in this business, because guess what? As you follow my advice and my tips, you get to avoid all the mistakes that I made that really pushed me back many times in this business and made me think, maybe this isn't going to work out for me. You can absolutely shortcut your way through this industry with the guidelines and tips that I give you. And of course, if you want to start on that video right now, the link is actually right below this video. If you want to start, continue on with the binge and enjoy the rest of this course. And you guys know where to get a hold of me. You can email me if you have any questions about this video or anything else. So we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Again, if you don't want to watch it now, I will email this to you in 24 hours, okay? Check your inbox. It's coming very quickly, and we're going to learn all about the real kinds of numbers and timelines it can take in the licensing business. We'll see you tomorrow.